we go. All right, welcome everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you this evening. My name's Carrie, and I get a chance to just briefly introduce you to a couple of amazing professionals that work with us at Secret Direct. And these are folks who are in the field working with us and have amazing talents. And we were talking about what's hot topics right now in aging and anti-aging. And these two professionals have come to the table tonight with information and top tips and trends that are going to help us with just understanding a couple of things that we can do for self-care, because in today's world, not a lot of gyms are open. A lot of people are having some challenges with getting into routines and wellness. And these folks have great insight. So we're going to be talking about anti-aging, top trends in wellness, and the latest things in helping us slow, if not reverse, those signs of aging so that we can feel good and live our best life as we grow older, right? I don't think anybody wants to look older faster or feel worse, right? So it's kind of like an objective of ours to allow you guys some information that might help elevate your own lifestyle and information. So what I'm going to do is first introduce an amazing professional that I've been working with for about a decade now. As not only is he a fitness professional, but this gentleman was actually the youngest Mr. USA in the history of that competitive competition, bodybuilding. He was the youngest ever to achieve the Mr. USA status. And I am so proud of that, because after all of that, I think he was 19, he can confirm that, at 19 years old, and still now, obviously in his 50s, he's going to be sharing with you what he's been able to do to be able to maintain, if not accelerate, a good lifestyle in fitness. But also, he's also got a very vast background in nutrition and understands what is going on in the supplement world as well as the fitness world in nutrition. So I want to do there you are, Mr. Zanardelli. I want to turn it over to you to share with people what you're excited about in the top trends in wellness and fitness and anti-aging for those of us who are wanting to grow old with grace and vitality. So Mr. Zanardelli, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hello, hello.
There you are. Okay, go ahead, please, sir.
Okay, well, thank you. And I was over here at the Cone Health Institute in Southern California waiting for a room to do this presentation from. And wouldn't you know it, the docs are running a little bit long with their clients. So here I am coming to you live from the from the vehicle. So I hope that all works for you. But welcome. I'm glad everyone here is here tonight to find out some information on how you anti-age. And I appreciate Carrie for saying that, it's been a lifelong quest for me. I've been in nutrition for 30 years. I did win the Miss USA. I'm the youngest guy to ever won that show. But I think that what I looked at was, even though I was competing at the time and I was doing some things that weren't necessarily focused on anti-aging, but I think that what I was doing was created a lifestyle that I knew that if I continued with it long enough, that it would pay dividends later in life. And I know a lot of folks, they just never had the opportunity of doing it that way. They wait till it's a little bit too late, or not too late, but they just wait till later in life. They go, I just don't like the way I feel. I just don't like the way that I look, the way that I function, the way that I perform. How can I get better now? And, what's interesting is that when I had clients that I dealt with that were of all ages and all types, I mean, I was really fortunate to work with a lot of athletes during my time, but it was always taking that person that wasn't sure they were going to be able to do much to improve the way they looked, the way they performed, the way they felt, and then through a process. Now, it's not going to happen overnight for those of you that are just seeing this tonight for the first time or trying something tonight for the first time, but it's going to take a little bit of a process. And so a lot of that, is going to start with, what do we put in our body on a daily basis with food? Obviously, if you're involved with our company, we have great opportunities to have great nutrition. But beyond that, what are we doing as far as foods? Are we eating organic? I think it's a huge benefit because we really don't know. If it's not organic, we really don't know what that product is. if we're eating out of a can or out of a box or something that could be stored forever and ever, that's on a shelf, probably not as healthy as something that, is going to basically go bad in 3 or 4 or 5 days.
Right.
What's interesting to me is when I go and I travel to Italy, everybody shops there almost every other day because they're buying things fresh. They're buying vegetables and fruits fresh. They're getting bread that was just made. And I think that because of our culture, we tend to say, well, if it's good and it can stay in my refrigerator for, 30, 60, 90 days, at least I can still eat it. And that's probably we should, again, I'm not asking you to change everything in your life, but I think that starting to eat a lot of plants, a lot of vegetables, things that you can make at home. And I know that it's tough, but listen, I've been 80% of what I eat, I make in my home.
Wow.
80%. And it's always organic, 100%. I think if you are starting to open up to some of the things that are around and surrounding gluten, I think that if we can remove a lot of that from our lifestyles, I think that you'll notice you'll have less sinus congestion, less inflammatory issues, less irritable bowel issues or stomach issues. Because, I know that for a lot of people, they say, well, if I'm not a celiac, then I must be okay to have gluten. Not necessarily true. If you tested most people, 70% of people are going to have some kind of gluten intolerance.
Wow.
So if we can start to remove some of that, I think that you'll find that you maybe won't be as congested in the morning, or you'll have less phlegm build up in your throat. And again, these are all things that most people don't talk about because there's no real source to get that information. So I think that's something that we can look at. So we need to definitely look at what we're putting in our bodies as far as nutrition. Again, you have a great resource here with Secret Direct and Life by Secret products, but all the other things that you're doing, try to make it as fresh as possible. The second thing we need to look at is how much oxygen are we getting in our bodies every day? And what I mean by that is an elevated oxygen O2 level. By you're sitting there in your chair, just breathing, if we were able to put an O2 sensor on your finger, it would probably show that your oxygen wasn't as high as it really should be so that your body functions at a better level. So we can oftentimes start working with breathing movements and so working on breath. And what that could really mean is just for a couple of minutes, every couple of hours, really kind of sit still and really take those deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Really deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And if we do this for a period of a couple of minutes, you will notice that even your energy gets better by doing that, because most people are not taking that full deeper breath of air. Certainly if we're sedentary or we're not doing much activity throughout the day. So breath is very, very important for that. Again, higher concentration of oxygen, less anti-aging. Lower concentration of oxygen, faster aging.
Wow.
That's why there's things called hyperbaric chambers, that if you're resourceful enough, you can probably find them there, where you go in and it's under pressure. You get a higher concentration of oxygen and you can get treatment that way. And you'll notice when you come out of one, if you ever have a chance to do one, you come out and you just feel so alert,
Wow.
yet so relaxed. And typically what you'll have, if you have any type of body stiffness or body aches, when you get out, you feel really loose and limber. The amazing thing, the amazing benefits of oxygen. So that's certainly another thing we can work on. Now, so we talked about food and what we're actually consuming. We're getting more oxygen. I promise if you do it and make it something that you do consistently, you'll notice that when you do a breathing movement for 2 to 3 or 4 minutes, you'll notice your energy is that much better. Your clarity of thought is that much better. I typically do this before I do a training or before I get on stage to do a presentation. I practice my breathing moves and I can just feel my body has more energy because of it. The third thing we need to look at with anti-aging is movement. If you have created something typically in your 30s and it's an activity that you normally do, chances are you're going to be moving more later in life than if you didn't do anything really, and you're kind of now starting at whatever age you are. If you're in your 40s and your 50s, it becomes much more difficult to create something that we do on a consistent basis. Now, it has to be as a routine. All of you have a routine, whatever that is in the morning. You can do this in the morning. It doesn't mean you have to do it all day. There's a movement that I like. It's done through a study or a program called Agoscu. Through Agoscu, you can do a lot of different breathing movements and motor movements with your body. Unfortunately, I'm sitting in my car, so I can't show you them as much as I'd like to.
Can you
However,
spell it?
what's that?
Spell that so I can, write it out in the chat.
Agoscu. You would have to do a Google search. I don't actually know the perfect spelling of it.
Oh, okay.
But it's something that Tony Robbins has used and has brought one of the leading experts in the world to actually come to the seminars to teach it, and they can show based upon what they've studied in graphs over time how it can raise the physiology and the energy in the body. So one of them might be simply as simple as running in place, where your feet don't move. So those of you that can't take impact, I understand. So what you do is you put one foot like you were going to be starting a race. You know how one foot is back, and one foot is forward. You kind of lean forward at maybe a 25% angle. You start with your hand here, one on your hip, and you count, and you use a timer, and you count for 30 seconds, and you move those arms as fast as you possibly can for 30 seconds. Let me tell you what, at the end of 30 seconds, you're probably breathing pretty hard. You're going, ooh, that was the fastest race I ever ran in place in my life. And then switch sides and do it again. And you'll notice that your physiology will be different just with that 1 minute that you did in your bathroom in front of a mirror, whatever. And you want to work those arms as fast as you possibly can. And again, low impact, but changing the physiology by changing your state of activity. For many people, when you get up in the morning, if you notice that your body's stiff, depending upon the age that you are, before you even get out of bed, you can stretch. So,
Woo. Yeah, froze up. Come back, Mike. That's a good face to be frozen with.
roll one leg over the other and turn to the side. You're on the bed on the other side. Listen, I know this sounds silly for some people, but for some people, it's really what you need to do. And then bring your legs back to center, and then kick one knee over so your body rolls to the other side. And you can do that as a stretching movement. You can, once you finish that, you do it once or twice, you can then lay there and bring one knee up, grab it with both arms, and lay in bed. And it's going to way to kind of create some flexibility in your lower lumbar and in through your joints of your knees and your hips. And again, this is simple things to do, but the way that we keep the body from aging is through movement. If the body is not moving, the body is going to age rather fast. Listen, these people that live in the Andes, that live to like 110 years old, you're going, how is that even possible? Well, listen, first of all, they're climbing through the Andes or wherever they are in Chile. I mean, they're walking and climbing up hills, and they're doing things on a regular basis. My suggestion is once you get a little bit of a stretch on in your bed, if that's where it has to start, you can move to the floor. Never stretch standing up. Stretch from a seated position.
Oh.
So from the floor, stretch to grab down to your toes if you can, or grab your ankles. From the floor stretching, not standing and bending down. Okay, it's going to take less pressure off your lower back. And again, we're trying to create motion. We're trying to create flexion. So from your back, and then you can go to more of a angled position with your legs like this on the floor. And then again, reaching out to one of your ankles and try to pull yourself to your knee the best you possibly can. Stretching is one of the most important things for helping your body stay younger. Have you noticed that when people get older and older and older, flexibility gets worse and worse and worse?
Yes.
Now, I had double level fusion in my lower back, but I can still touch my fingers to the ground with my feet flat. If I'm standing, I can still grab my toes if I'm sitting, or if I'm actually seated on the floor, I can grab my toes with my hands. Most people can't do that. Once you get over 50 years old, they just can't. So if you can't do that, grab your ankles, pull yourself down as far as you can, and hold it. It's important to actually hold a stretch for at least a count of 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Okay, hold that stretch for at least 10 seconds. You can do the one with the V. Now, you can also do that. Now, when you lay down on your back, again, you can bring your knees up to your chest and really bring that knee into your chest. And again, when you bring it back as far as you can, you want to hold that for a count of 10 seconds. All the stretching movements you can do from the ground are going to be beneficial to your lower back not being strained from trying to touch your toes and stretch in that position. Fair enough? Now,
That's
for those of
great.
you who actually want to get a little adventurous, you might want to actually consider walking. Not around the house, but like leave the house, and go out and start walking around your neighborhood. Again, a 20-minute brisk walk is going to be very helpful for creating more oxygen flow, better breathing, and again, getting your joints to be lubricated. When your joints don't move much, they don't get lubricated much. You'll see oftentimes where you have runners or sprinters or weightlifters, they'll move a joint or they'll, swing their arms around and try to get limber and loose before they actually perform.
Right.
They create some of the fluid in their joints. So if you actually do want to leave your house and you get outside and you get a chance to walk, you might want to walk on a slight grade up. Create more your blood is going to run faster because your heartbeat is going to be higher than if you're walking. Fair enough? So this is just some basic stuff to do impact exercises. You can do like run at home. Do it for a count of a minute. You'll find out most people get very winded by doing that. Put on some good music that you get excited when you just hear the music. Some of you, I know what that is. More than likely, it's not going to be the symphony. It's something that you listen to in your car, in your iPad, or your phone with your headphones in, something that gets you up. You want to exercise with that because it helps everything in your body to move. Movement is the key, and flexibility is the key to creating somebody who's going to be younger. I know that every day that when people ask me, like, how old are you? 40, 45? I'm like, no, I'm 53. Like, you don't even have hardly any wrinkles in my face. I'm like, well, would you like to have less wrinkles in your face? I actually have a product I can share with you. But I said, well, I think that, genetics is definitely part of it. But because I've been eating 80% of whatever I've eaten in the last 30 years, I make. And I know what it is. I know what the ingredients are. I know they're very clean. I don't eat fried food. There's a lot of things that add up over time. But if you're just getting started now, no matter what your age is, some of the things that we covered this morning, or just here in the last 20 minutes, start to actually apply that in your life. Don't do it one day a week. Do it 3, and then do it 4. Listen, I have a dad that's 78 years old. He works out 4 days a week still. He's on a Versa climber. When he walks into the gym, he goes over, he stretches out a little bit, gets on the Versa climber, and goes on a Versa climber for 20 minutes before he ever touches a weight. So, I get to see that the longevity of what movement, flexibility, higher oxygen rate, higher heart rate can do for you long term. He's a guy I've traveled around the world with. And, when we were traveling, he was 65 and 70. There were a lot of people on our trips that couldn't do what he was doing.
Yeah, no way.
So with that, I think that's some of the best input that I could give you. And you know what? It's never too late to start. Even if you're listening to this tonight and you are in your 80s, it is never too late to start. I had an Uncle Bello at 82 years old was still able to do pull-ups in the doorway. He had one of those bars in the doorway. He'd still do pull-ups at 82 years old.
That's
So, it's something that you have to get into a routine with, but you'll feel better, and those dividends will actually kick in later on in life. And listen, if you're in your 40s and 50s, we're only halfway there.
Yeah. Thanks for the warning.
You got another half.
Well, thank you so much for these amazing tips and what is happening with the three highlights, if I can reiterate, were the key: clean nutrition, oxygenation, breathing, and movement, right?
That's correct.
Those are the highlights. Excellent. Well, I thank you so much for joining us. I know you've got other appointments you got to go run and do. And I'm going to go ahead and let you off the hook while we go ahead and bring on our next guest. Mike, thank you so very much for taking the time. It's been awesome to learn from you guys. This gentleman he knows what he's been doing for the last umpteen years, since 19 or before 19 years old, to be able to win Mr. USA and then at the same time come on board with us in our nutrition company. Is there one more thing you would want to say about the nutrition that we have with this product line, Mike, just as a touch?
The product line, I think that if you're watching this today, or you're watching the recording, you have to look at this product line as a lifestyle brand, something that you're going to incorporate, and it's just a part of your lifestyle from now until whenever. I've been on this product line for 10 years. I have to say that I feel better than ever. It has always produced results for me. And those of us that have been on the journey for that long, certainly you and Oscar have been on that journey as long. And I know that Judy Stahlkopf has been on that journey. For a lot of you that are here, it's a lifestyle brand. It's something that you should have in your life every single day. And it will, again, healthy nutrition isn't a fad.
Right.
Healthy, organic, plant-based nutrition of the quality that we have. And again, this is a premium brand. This is not what you're getting down at the local GNC for $30 for a tub of 50 pounds of whey protein. This is a premium brand. But what does your body deserve?
It does. It does deserve the best. Thank you so much for those parting words, Mike. I appreciate your time this evening, and we'll let you go get back to your next task. Thank you very, very much. And we'll be looking forward to hearing back from you again in the future. And now I have the pleasure of turning it over to an amazing woman who is somebody that I got a chance to get a chance to work with, talk to, meet, and now become great friends with as one of the most sought after microscopists in North America. This is a woman who has worked with a celebrity clientele, and she reads blood. She doesn't go do blood tests. No, no, no. She reads the blood and says, this is what's going on with you. So incredibly smart at diagnostics and supplementation. Companies have hired her to create supplements, and she has an inside knowledge that is beyond anything that I could even think about. So I'm really excited to turn it over to and have a little discussion here with Laura Belg, our resident microscopist. Laura, if you are, I think you are unmuted, and I would love for you to share some of the highlights that we talked about yesterday that you found that are the best trends in anti-aging from the woman's perspective. If you wouldn't mind sharing, that would be awesome. Let me get this back to speaker view. Go ahead, Miss Laura Belg.
Well, thank you, Carrie. It's so good to be here. I couldn't tell Carrie enough times yesterday, and I think what we talked about the most is how great Carrie looks. She just looks so good and so clear and so bright, and it's a beautiful thing to see, you know? I mean, you can tell, that these people are taking great quality supplements. I mean, look at Mike, look at Carrie, people think I look really healthy. So,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, there's evidence, to something being good and correct for you. And I mean, Carrie and I get in these like really awesome conversations where it's like I'm trying to stuff decades worth of information into one conversation. And that's me, because my mind goes bap, 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 and there's so much going through there. So kind of like my history a little bit is that I was trained through the Anthony Robbins microscopy program. Okay. Tony Robbins is actually the largest pusher of microscopy in this country. And Dr. Robert Young would be, he was the microscopist that invented the alkalinity versus acidity theory. Mm-hmm. So we look for, as microscopist, alkalinity in the blood. We look for acidity in the blood. We look for, you know, lots and lots of stuff. I am very, very proud that I had not only my education, but then I had much, 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 much continuing education. So I'm a proud owner of a biomedics microscope, and I'm a representative of biomedics, which is the largest microscope company in the world. They've been around for 8 million years, something like that. And we study everything from, you know, urine to uh, uh, plants and vegetables to blood to, I mean, everything in the world that you could possibly put under a microscope. And so with that being said, we see lots and lots of stuff. So when I kind of look at something, or I'm with a client and I tell them to take something, it's really no further than, well, I've had going into 2 decades of experience of when somebody does this and I put their blood on the microscope, this is where we get the result. It's really not a lot more complicated than that. Okay. So when I know I've got somebody who has cancer, or someone that has diabetes, or someone that's just really just trying to maintain their health, because disease kind of comes up the pike decades before we ever know we have it.
Right.
And by the time, unfortunately, somebody gets to someone like me, they've been sick for a long time. People that come to me are real sick. They're broken. Okay, most of the time. So I have to kind of unravel exactly, you know, what's the best way to detoxify this person? What's the best nutrition to give them? What's the best of everything? And there's a lot of stuff that I recommend that a lot of people take. When it comes to the secret products, and I, you know, I deal with it every day. Lots of people are on supplement programs. Whoop-de-doo. Okay. Yeah, they're just, oh, really? Okay, is that why you still have problems? Because you're on a great supplement program, you know, and I have to deal with that. Then I have to break things down and tell people why, you know, alkalizing is the way to go, why these products are the best. We can start with the shake. I don't think a lot of people, like a lot of people probably out there that are drinking the shake, they're like, well, yeah, it tastes like birthday cake. We, here in Ohio, we call it the birthday cake shake because it tastes fabulous. Okay. But what are the real reasons that we take it? Okay. Number one, okay, and I can list this off to you. Boy, I got an arsenal full tonight, let me tell you. Let me roll up my sleeves, Carrie, okay? But, you know, with sprouts, okay, they help in digestion, okay? And these are all sprouted. So you've got, you know, you look at the ingredients, the shake and everything is sprouted, okay? I'm an ambassador for the Hippocrates Institute, which is the #1 health institute in the world, okay? At Hippocrates, it's a raw food institute. Anne Wigmore was the mother of raw foods in this country. She is the reason why we have sprouts in our grocery store. Okay, we can thank her. So she's the one that kind of discovered that sprouting your foods is the way to go. Then that creates that turns them into nutrient dense foods. Okay, and quite frankly, any way you can get nutrition, go for it. You know, just ultimate nutrition, like this day and age, we really need it. So #1, sprouts help in digestion. Okay. You know, it's funny because, you know, like Mike was talking about processed foods and stuff like that. So in the raw food world, we kind of say, if something is cooked, it's dead, but if it's raw, it's live. So you're either eating dead food or you're eating live food. And that's because when you cook foods over 117 degrees, you're cooking out all their enzymes, okay? Wow. And the nutrition. Okay, so that's one reason why raw foods are real super important. And I'm not necessarily, I'm not really a fan of, I think everybody should eat 100% raw all the time, but I think a good portion of your diet should be raw. Okay, and when it comes to sprouts, they have naturally occurring probiotics in them. Okay, which is excellent because that works on your gut health, right? Probiotics, like if you look at the different strains of probiotics out there, probiotics, each and every one of them serve a different purpose. Like some of them are good for the brain, some of them are good for the gut. Okay, and you know, I mean, you got to have probiotics in the system, and when you can have them that are naturally occurring, then that's the best way to get them. It's funny because acidophilus is promoted and everybody wants to take acidophilus all the time. That's not even nearly the most important probiotic for you to have in your gut. In fact, it's one of the least most important.
Wow.
So yeah, so when you can get sprouts that are naturally occurring, that's going to be the best way to go for gut health. Okay.
Awesome.
Boosts blood circulation, helps in weight loss. That's why our shake is a weight loss shake, because it aids in weight loss. When you uh, intake foods that are sustainable. So when you're getting pure nutrition, it sustains you. When you have sustaining nutrition, you're not hungry all the time.
Right.
In fact, you're a lot less hungry.
Mm-hmm.
When I do high raw, okay, at different periods of my life, I think I spend about $50 at the grocery store a week. Okay, I mean nothing, and it's just all buying produce, during those times, right? But in any event, it's a real good thing to do. So let's see here. There's lots of stuff I wanted to cover, but I've got so much packed in my brain. Build your immune system, improves eyesight, heart friendly, helps reduce acidity. Make no mistake about it. You're either going towards acidity in your body, an acidic environment, or you're going towards an alkaline environment. If you're walking towards an acidic environment, then you're walking towards chronic disease. Whether you have it now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're gonna have it. So it's your choice. You can either walk towards an acidic environment, which is towards chronic disease, or take the walk towards becoming alkaline. Okay. So one of the reasons why I want to bring up friendly bacteria too is because a lot of people talk about my skin. Okay, so we can start talking about skin right now. See, I kind of have like this spa thing going on a little bit here instead of me being stuffy, Dr. Laura, right? Because my bedroom's kind of spa-like, right? So, okay, so one of the things I attribute to my skin being good, okay, is the fact that I haven't stripped it of all of the friendly bacteria that it needs. Okay, and that's the biggest mistake that we make. A lot of people use products with alcohols in them. Alcohol goes straight into the bloodstream. Anything you put topically on your skin goes right into your bloodstream. Okay, that's not cool. Okay, alcohol causes cancer and can contribute to it. Okay, so want to stay away from anything that's alcohol based, absolutely. And I mean, you look at the ingredients in our skincare, like I'll tell you something, the number one skin moisturizer and skin cream on the market is La Mer. La Mer is like $250 a jar. Okay, first ingredient in La Mer is seaweed. Second ingredient in La Mer is petroleum.
Oh my gosh.
Petroleum is a derivative of gasoline. Make no mistake about it. This is fabulous skincare that we're using, because not only do we get results, but we're not making ourselves sick by using it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be putting petroleum on your skin. Ultimately, that's going to dehydrate it. So if you ever stop using that cream, what's your skin going to look like?
Right.
So is it really improving it? If you really, and I think a lot of women, I've heard them over the years kind of complaining about, well, the skin cream worked great while I was using it, but the minute I stopped, I was right back to the wrinkles I started with. So you're not really changing your skin. It's like putting makeup on for the day. You're not really looking like that. Well, we want to really look like that, because there's nothing that's better looking in a person and nothing that's more beautiful than when someone's healthy.
Right.
I see a lot of people out there, maybe they don't have the most perfect nose or eyes or hair or whatever, but when they're healthy, it's like you cannot help but look at that person and think, man, they look great. And you just vibrate so high. And that's one of the things in the raw food world we talk about, is that when you're eating in a more pure form and when you're doing raw, you literally feel a high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I've felt that high many times in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real cool thing. So, when you see, people around you that are embracing, a healthier lifestyle, I mean, there's no mistaking it,
Right.
but it goes back to, the friendly bacteria on our skin. Let me just say this. So, the Native Americans say, you know, white man wash away too much good bacteria on the skin, and they're right. So they think we bathe too much, which we do, okay? Because being clean comes from the inside out. So no matter what you do, you have got to detoxify. Okay, there's one of the 1,000 reasons why you need to do that. Okay, so in my world, the skin is the liver. Okay, so it's kind of like this. Everything kind of comes out of your body. Your body has an avenue it uses to detoxify. It goes lymphatic system, liver, colon, out, right? So you can be doing, you know, lots of different stuff, but if you're not detoxifying and working on the integrity of your cells to eliminate toxicity, then nothing's going to move very fast. And this is why a lot of people turn around. They're like, you know, yeah, I've been taking these supplements, but I still have all these problems. Well, this is the kind of reasons why. You have to work on this cell's integrity, period. And I say it every day of my life, if you're not working on your health on a cellular level, you're not working on your health. Well, that all shows on your skin. It shows in your eyes. It shows in your teeth. It shows in your hair. I mean, it shows everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's just, I mean, reason after reason to take these products. My gosh. And then Mike was talking about breathing. I am the worst at breathing. I swear I probably go all day and breathe. I take 3 breaths. I just forget to breathe. I've always been like that. Okay. So, you know, I remember to do it if I'm out on a hike or I'm bicycling or swimming or something like that. Like I remember it more because I'm more in tune with myself. But when I go through my days and my mind is going 50 miles an hour, because I never sit, you know, unless I'm reading blood, of course, but I'm not a sitter. I am very motion oriented. I'm a Pisces. So like, right? But I never sit still. And so one of the things that I really love is that our greens are like a hyperbaric oxygen chamber in a bottle. You know, because not everybody can get a prescription to use one. Not everybody can get access to one. And maybe not everybody's got time. But, you know, when it comes to oxygenating the system and breathing oxygen infusing it into your entire system, you know, it's like, I think everybody can kind of relate to people say plant lots of trees around your house so that you breathe better. Yeah. You know, and it's because of the chlorophyll in the leaves. The chlorophyll is the green color in the leaves. And when you can drink that and you can drink all that green into your system and oxygenate your system right at home, that's a good way to go. You know,
absolutely. And you spoke to something else.
Directions now. I'm just telling you.
I wanted to bring up something else that you talked about, oxygenating the skin with the fascia for the face, the Fascia Blaster for the face.
Oh, yeah. Ta-da!
Super fun. Tell us about this, because as an anti-aging tool, this is something you can do at home, right? Self-care.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm all for doing things at home that don't take long, because the reality of it is, I'm one of those people, I deal with people with busy lifestyles all the time. I deal with pro athletes, CEOs, like people that are just own their own businesses, are real involved, you know, and I can understand that. And if something's not easy enough for me to do, I might not do it. So I need a lot of punch. I need more bang for my buck, so to speak, like when I'm doing something. So I need, the highest results, least amount of time.
Yeah.
So that works for me, right? Okay, so, and I want to make mention that I don't think that there is just one thing, okay, that someone can do that is going to, you know, just make them indemnify. They don't need anything else, just that one thing. Your health is like a pie chart. So there are a lot of different, you know, pieces of pie and a lot of different components to your health. So this is just one of them. One of the most fascinating things, and you can look this girl up on Facebook. I made friends with her like 10 years ago before she was big and famous, but there's a lady named Ashley Black, and she invented something called a Fascia Blaster. There is nothing like this. There is no exercise tool like this, period. And basically what it does is it helps to break up the fascia. Now, this is the one for the face, but you can also use it on smaller areas of your body, like your hands or your feet, your knees, you know, the side of your hips. I mean, you can use it into like smaller places, but she has the actual tool called the Fascia Blaster, which you just go under ashleyblackguru.com. Okay. And I mean, when you look down and you see testimonials, or you go on YouTube, or you go on Facebook, she's got a group called Fascia Blasters for Women, FASCIA, Fascia Blaster. Okay. When you look down and you see those testimonials, it don't take long. I mean, we're looking at immediate results with this. Okay. And so what happens is, when you get immediate results from breaking up your fascia, and that starts to, it promotes collagen stimulation. It just does a lot of things. Okay. So your fascia works in with your lymph. So like I was telling Carrie last night, that I'm trying to really get, my lymphs, to drain right here. I'm trying to get more of a chiseled look on my face. I have done the gua sha facial tools as well. Okay, that's very good for getting, definition in your face. And then you can use the Fascia Blaster also on your neck, the gua sha on your neck. I find the Fascia Blaster is better for breaking up fascia, and that the gua sha tools are better for kind of like cutting in the definition. Okay, so but when you use a Fascia Blaster, and I can use it like on my lymph, under my arm, I mean, I can use this little guy anywhere. But when you break, and breaking up fascia is a South American practice. Okay, so they've been doing it in South America for like years and years and years, along with everything else in their spas, like giving stem cells of all different types and all kinds of things, right? But I have had a girl that, lived in South America for many years, and she used to do, years ago, she used to do my fascia breakup, because that's what causes cellulite. That's what causes wrinkles. So like if you go into your face, okay, so I have a little tiny wrinkle right here on the corner of my mouth, okay? And okay, it's a bigger deal to me than you, than Carrie, okay?
You're so beautiful. I'm sorry.
But if I take my fingers here and I locate that wrinkle and I scroll down, I can feel the ball of fascia that's attached to that wrinkle.
Wow.
So the fascia is any wrinkle that you have, feel in your face, and you will feel these balls. Well, I can remember the first time I felt fascia balls in my face, I was freaked out. I'm like, what is that doing in my face? I mean, it really did freak me out, because I'd never felt it before.
Right.
And so, I've done a lot of anti-aging myself over the last like 5 years since my divorce. I had, admittedly, okay, so I had a really horrible marriage. I was very happy about the divorce. Nevertheless, I was really broken at that point in my life 5 years ago. In every way somebody could be broken, that's where I was. So the transitions, everything I had to go through to, put my life back together, it aged me. Okay. And I was really upset about that. One of the things I was really upset about is that my top lip, had thinned out, and I was freaked out about it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not getting injections because I don't want to look like I'm related to Daisy Duck. I think it's very aging to get those injections too.
Yeah.
Because people can see you coming. Nothing soft or natural, I mean, really. So all I did was, I think it took me 2-3 times with the Fascia Blaster, and all of a sudden, whoop, my lip went up. And then on the left side of my lip, I have a little scar there. It's very little now. It only took me like 3 times of fascia blasting to get this little sucker down to just something very tiny. Okay, 3 times.
Wow.
Okay. And then I was carjacked in New York City by a husband and wife when I was in my early 20s. I'm almost 52 now, okay? But when I was in my early 20s, I was carjacked, and my lip hit the steering wheel, and it created a little scar there. That's almost gone now. I've had it for years. It's almost gone.
Wow. You know what, Laura?
With a mini.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Somebody's got a question about, can you explain what fascia is?
Fascia is like your fat. Okay, and it compacts. Like, so if you look at someone's, like we say, cottage cheese thighs, or we look at excess weight and stuff like that, that's fascia. you know, and that's what that is. And it immediately starts going down once you start fascia blasting. Okay. But fascia blasting isn't the only answer. You got to have good nutrition. You got to have good skincare, period. You cannot just do one thing. It can't be, well, I'm just doing one thing. I mean, if you're like feeling like crap and you're real sick and you have to start with one thing, okay, great. But overall, your health is not just one thing. And I cannot say that enough. Right. So
yeah, it's not the cover of a magazine.
right, but the fascia, you know, it's right there by your lymph. Okay. So, and your lymphs can't drain all that fascia fast enough. Okay. So a lot of people, what you will find, and what I find is that people will come to me and say, you know, I need to lose some weight. And 9 out of 10 times, honest to God, they're not fat. They just need to take the inflammation down.
Yeah.
Well, how you do that? Through lymph drainage. And, you know, breaking up the fascia. I mean, if your skin's uneven anywhere or anything like that, you just, you know, you can break up the fascia with a fascia blaster. I know it really helps to, you know, chisel you out. It helps to get rid of any of the excess weight under your chin. And I hate to say the word weight, but it's the only word people can relate to, you know? And I mean, I hate to say that, but people are not fat. They're inflamed.
That's it. It's inflammatory weight.
I mean, if you have a lot of toxins in your body, sorry, you know, you're going to weigh more. You're going to be more swollen. You're going to look puffier.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a big motivator. So, you know, with the recovery tablets and then, you know, the alkaline boosters, slam them. You know, that brings down inflammation. The greens capsules, everybody loves those because they give them energy. So I know, like I've said this before, but a lot of the doctors that I work around that have carried them, they say they just keep them in their pocket and pop them throughout the day because they give them energy. And it does me too. I mean, greens give you energy. Why? Because like Mike was talking about, it oxygenates the system. You know, okay, so once again, rope me in, Carrie, because I can go in about
I know. The only other thing that I know we're just about wrapped up, and I'm so grateful for the content you're providing and the stuff you're sharing. But we did talk about one other concern for the aging women that I always hear. And you touched it briefly, but I want to circle back to it. It was this dark spots, the sunspots, or what my mom always called. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So what's your trick on that one?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you. Okay. I feel like I've just gotten started and we're wrapping up.
I know. We'll have to do another one.
So I'm sitting in front of notes here, babe. Okay, so here's the deal. Is that everybody's like, you know, stay out of the sun, stay out of the sun, stay out of the sun. Doctors been telling us for stay out of the sun. Now it's everybody needs vitamin D, right? In recent years. So I will tell you very honestly, I'm in the sun every chance I get.
Yeah.
I love the sun. Okay. But here's the deal. I understudied a Seneca Indian for 6 years. And this is one of the things he taught me, and it's absolutely right, okay, is that everybody thinks that the sun puts dark spots on the skin, that by being in the sun, that the dark spots just end up topically. What the dark spots are actually is that the sun is very detoxifying. So the sun pulls toxins from the system. What those brown spots are, they're actual acid burns on the skin. Wow. So this is another reason to triple alkalize if you're going to be in the sun, because you don't want those brown spots on your skin. That's just another avenue. I mean, your skin's your largest organ. It's another avenue. If your toxins can't get out another way, they're going to start trying to come out through your skin. Right. And it may not be eczema or anything like that, but the sun's just trying to detoxify you. So prime example, 25 years ago, before I did my first liver cleanse, my whole chest was filled with freckles because I'd had a bad sunburn. Okay. Well, apparently I was acidic. Okay. So 25 years ago. So I had a chest full of freckles. And after my very first liver cleanse, and it involved a lot of greens, I have not one freckle on my chest, you know, nothing.
That's wild. That's so wild.
Loaded with freckles everywhere. And I don't have one freckle now. Yep.
So the keys are alkalizing and can you reverse them then? Do you have them and you more alkalize, those will fade?
Yeah, I mean, the more you alkalize, the more they will fade.
That's
You know,
because
I mean,
yours
that's what
are
happened to me. I got my system good and cleaned out.
gone.
And you know, like I was shocked. Like I have pictures of myself 25 years ago in New York, and I mean, just loaded.
That's crazy talk. Wow, that's fun to know
Well,
though.
I'm
That's
very
exciting.
conscientious about like because you know it's seasonal sun here in Ohio. So, but you know, I like to be out in the sun anytime I can. But when I'm like really hitting it hard during the hot months, you know, I make sure, boy, I am alkaline because I don't want any freckles like that on my skin.
You know
Yeah.
what it is.
Right, right. You
Fascinating.
take carrot juice too, like when you juice carrots, you can keep it in the refrigerator. And then when you go into the shower, you put carrot juice all over your skin and it fills in the pigment.
What?
Yeah, it's really cool. And your skin just looks beautiful when you do that. Beautiful. Yeah.
So say that again. If I'm juicing carrots before
Yeah.
I go into the shower.
And then I keep little bottles of it in my refrigerator, right? And then
Oh,
what you do is when you're in the shower, you just put it all over wherever you want it, okay, where you want to fill in the pigments on your skin. Could be on your face, your neck, your arms, anywhere. And then, but after you do it like the second, third time, second, third day or time you shower, you've really filled in some pigment and it looks beautiful. Your skin will look beautiful. Here's another thing too, if you're out in the sun, okay, and everybody's going to say that stinks, okay, so I'm going to tell you the way around it. I don't care if you are white as Casper the Ghost. If you put cod liver oil on your skin, you will never, ever, ever, ever burn. It works way better than any sunscreen. Now, another benefit of this too, when you use it in the sun, even if you have olive skin like me, your skin will be so beautiful. It'll be the most beautiful tan you've ever had when you use cod liver oil topically. Okay, now they sell cod liver oil in like cinnamon flavor, cherry flavored. I usually get it in the cinnamon and keep it separate and wear a separate swimsuit when I use the cod liver oil. You would not even believe your skin. It's
wow.
beautiful,
I know
beautiful.
there's a lot of benefits for that, but I never heard that one. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
topically. Well, and I'd rather use the fish oil topically than internally because it's not just really always so good for everyone.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, Laura, you gave us so many amazing, great anti-aging tips and things to really help us understand how we can have more vitality in our body and in our skin. I'm so grateful that you had the time to share this tonight, and everybody's asking for another one. So we'll book another one in the future.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We need to do a part two.
Yeah, for
And
sure, for
another
sure.
thing, quickly, I do need to mention this because this is a big. I am gonna. This is another reason to get your blood done. Okay.
Okay.
Because I can always come up with a reason because it's true. So in any event, okay, so one of the biggest things that I look for in the blood, okay, there's like 4 or 5 things that I look for immediately. If I see those things in the blood, okay, we got to talk about those first. We got to get rid of those first because we're not going to go anywhere until we do. Okay. So one of those things are parasites, and we all have them, but we need to have a more friendly than unfriendly in our system. Okay.
Right.
So if I'm seeing parasites are a problem in somebody, which I do often, okay, that's one of the big reasons people come to me so they can see if they have parasites. Parasites feed off of your nutrition. Okay. So if you ever see someone smile and they have a bunch of like lines in their cheeks, that's because they have parasites eating away at their collagen.
Oh my gosh, that was gross.
Okay? Like you look at Angelina Jolie, like beautiful woman, but man, something's rough right here. Okay, that's
Wow.
parasites.
Oh
Uh huh. Yeah.
my,
Yeah.
ew.
So you don't want that. And
No.
and the you know the answer isn't, well, let me just start taking bone broth. I got big answers, but we don't have time. But anyway, another reason to get your blood done, you should always, you know, get your blood done at least once and, you know, see where you're at.
Give us your website for that in case anybody's interested in
Okay,
connecting
if
with you.
anybody wants to get their blood done or they're interested, the best way to get a hold of me is to text me on my cell phone, which is 917-449-1060. Text me with your full name and I will get back to you as humanly possible, as fast as I can. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, and then you still have a website, or you want to just go through the text?
It'd be better, but my website's just my name.com, laurabelg.com. But if you're interested in doing a blood kit, you got to talk to me. So,
Right.
yeah.
Awesome. We're so grateful for your expertise and your time, and your beautiful spirit, and being part of the organization and helping us grow our awareness level as we build our secret business. And I know you're a big proponent of the supplements. And as far as supplements go, before we wrap this up, I know there's only a few that you recommend. Can you talk about why you would recommend our supplement line versus something else before we wrap it?
Well, because when you're alkalizing, it kind of covers everything. You're not performing one function. And even though, people know I'm in the business of selling supplements, I do not believe in taking very many. You've got to you're better off because your liver still has to process supplements too. Okay.
Right.
And quite frankly, the average consumer does not have any bloody idea what they're doing as far as purchasing supplements. So they end up with something crappy and synthetic, which gets stored by the liver and makes them sick down the road. Okay. And it has nothing to do with being smart and being dumb. Okay. It has to do with education. That's
Right.
it. Okay.
Right.
So when you're alkalizing, you're covering a massive amount of ground. When you're taking greens and you're getting all the amino acids that are in our shake, that's covering a lot of ground. Folks, research what amino acids do. You're lifeless without them.
Right.
So, our program covers so much ground. It's not isolated, it's not synthetic, and it's real nutrition. So that would be the reason. And I mean, you can take anybody's vitamins, but if they're synthetic, God bless you.
Not going to work in the body, right? They just don't work.
It's not. And then you're going to create another problem.
Right.
That's the problem. And so, these are the kind of things that people are trying to alkalize from. It's rotten supplements.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's easy. Dr. Cohn was great at how he put everything together and assembled everything. I mean, you're just working on just the total integrity of your health.
Absolutely. That is a great way to wrap it up, the total integrity of our health. And thank you so much, Laura, for being here. Thanks to everybody. We know your time is valuable. We appreciate everybody joining us this evening. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we'll have this available for replay.